to you. Great companies like Sun Warrior, Crazy Water, the H Hemp Company for all your CBD or hemp needs. Go to hemp.com. Paleo Magazine, the Wellbeing Journal, and the International Society of Sports Nutrition. So we have a caller from Los Angeles. Vanessa, are you there?
Hi.
Hey.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Vanessa.
So I love it. You're calling us from Los Angeles. Who is your question for? Who is your question for?
Actually, for everybody. Because
Okay.
I live here in LA, and I'm finding dating is so hard. And I want to know if you guys have any tips.
Any tips?
Any tips for dating?
Gosh. Oh my gosh! Don't date. No, I'm.
What's hard about dating?
Oh my gosh! Okay,
Come on.
Vanessa, I appreciate you calling in from Southern California. We're headed there next week, and I love being on KMET out there. So Vaughn, what do you say to Vanessa?
Yeah, well, the dating game has changed quite a bit because, you can just swipe left or swipe right to try to get a date nowadays. And so trying to find someone who is quality, everyone has a different type of, game plan for how to date. For instance, I had a client come in. They said, you know what? I came to Dallas and I knew I had to, it's a numbers game. So I went on 50 dates, maybe about 25 different guys before I finally found the right one, where someone else may say, you know what? I don't want to do any of these dating apps. I just wanted to, happen organically throughout my life. I know that's kind of like your
That's what I do. I would never swipe.
You would never swipe?
No.
Never swipe?
Oh, well, you might swipe Ted Bundy.
Well,
I mean, come on now.
If I had to give you some advice about dating, I would say, number one, determine your values. Because once you have your values set, then you know what you will and you won't accept. And so I give you an example, and I use this example a lot. It's a little bit of a crude example. So I had a guy come into my office one time. He said, hey, Vaughn, I'm dating two women. One, the first girl, she's my best friend. When my back's against the wall, she's always there for me. The other girl, again, we're swinging from the chandelier. She's like a porn star in the bedroom. So, so my two questions for you is, number one, what is most important to you? And then number two, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because you can't have it all. So once you determine your values, then you're going to be able to move forward with more confidence because you know what you will and you won't accept.
Yeah.
And so whoever you're going to meet, you can rule them out really quickly based on your value system. And so
I would totally agree with you. That's great advice. Right. I think with that guy, I would say first of all, you need to break up with both of them because you've broken their trust.
Right.
So you're screwed already right out of the gate. I'm serious.
Yeah.
You're looking at me.
No. I think you're right.
I think that's unfair to do that to another human being.
Gotcha.
How would you like someone to do that to you?
Gotcha.
And then you start from scratch and you try to find a girl that has all those qualities that you want.
Right. Because, because trust is the foundational component of any relationship. And we've talked about this before, how trust comes in many different forms in a relationship. And so do I trust you not going to cheat on me? With this guy? Apparently not. Do I trust you're going to be a good father? Do I trust you're going to be a good financial provider? Do I trust, so trust comes in many different forms in a relationship. So you want to find someone who's trustworthy. And but again, the more you know yourself, the more self-insight, the more emotionally intelligent you are, then you can rule out and identify people really quickly. So work on yourself, and then that's going to roll over into whoever you're trying to date.
And quit being a cheater. Get that out of your system.
Being a cheater.
Yeah, because you're never going to have a healthy relationship.
You're never
going to get never.
We did a podcast on polyamorous relationships.
Yeah,
and so some people like to, some people like
I think men like polyamorous relationships because men like to spread their seed.
Seed.
So
Just set your boundaries at the beginning.
You said it like I can't respond to that, Bernadette. I mean, there's some women that like to get out there too. You know what? Women cheat more than men nowadays.
Yeah, because they're trying to give it back. No.
Taking the power back.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
kind of, sort of. Okay, so we've got two more callers on the line.
Okay.
I'm so excited. This is fun. This is like playing a game show. I love it. So, Vanessa, thank you so much for calling in from Los Angeles. Thank you, and call us anytime, please. Thank you so much. And she's gone. Okay, so this is fun. I've got Camera from Dallas. Camera from Dallas, what's your question, and who do you want to ask?
Hi, I'm here. I want to talk to Mr. Vaughn.
Oh, okay. Vaughn, go.
Okay. Talk to me.
I'm a person who struggles with living in her emotions.
So,
I always refer to myself as either being dramatic or too emotional or just crazy at some point. So I just want to know, what are some practicals that you have on living outside of your emotions and not letting them control you?
Well, okay, so there's this idea of some people being what we call emotionally dysregulated, and that's whenever your emotions take control to the point where you can't make, really objective and logical decisions. Everyone is a little bit different, just depending on how you're wired. Now, I typically say that, what's going to wire you, or, how it is you function in life. Number one, your genetics, because everyone has a different genetic predisposition. Number two, your environment. And we talked about meta emotions earlier. So you're going to learn how to respond to certain emotions based on how you're raised. And the number three is, what do your choices. So what do you do with the cards that you're dealt and what you have? So some people, when they experience emotions, they experience them like much more deeply than other people. So they have this wide range of emotions. So it's like a pendulum. So they're swinging between, you might be that person that swings between 1 and 10, and then someone else that you're dating swings between, 4 and 6. But that doesn't mean something's wrong with you just because you experience emotions more deeply. So one,
thank you.
Yeah,
I'm analyzing myself right now.
Yeah,
too.
no. That's great. That's great. So give yourself permission to experience your emotions. I can make a case saying that, it doesn't matter whether you're emotional or not. You just need to find someone who actually accepts your emotionality, if that's a word, accepts you for who you are. So that's number one. And so, but if you find someone who is what we call emotionally dismissive, they don't accept your emotion, that's when we're starting to have issues, because especially for guys, we feel like, okay, something's wrong with you for feeling that way, and then we go on to problem solving. So you want to find someone who accepts you for who you are. I think that's the bigger issue than you being emotionally, dysregulated. But again, if you are, totally emotionally dysregulated, I would say, do some things to help you center yourself so you can self-soothe, because when you do get too emotional, you can experience what we call flooding, and that's when the neocortex shuts down and you can't think straight. You lose part of your peripheral vision. You can't hear. Your hearing is compromised. So you want to stay at a place where you're physiologically in a place where you self-soothe and not get too emotional. However, you may have to do some work with a counselor to kind of figure that piece of it out. But again, I would say, number one, find someone who accepts you. Number two, make sure that you don't go where you're flooding. Just because you're emotional doesn't mean you're flooding, by the way. It just means that.
Yeah, and don't be too hard on yourself either, because you should be passionate about certain things. But when you get out of control, of course, maybe you've crossed the line. But thank you so much for calling.
Really appreciate that question.
Yes,
Great
I appreciate it. It is. Great question. Thank you, Camera. Next, we're going to go to Joni from Dallas. Hey, Joni. We have two Jonies on the regular callers. I'm not sure which Joni this is, but thanks for calling. And who's your question for?
My question's for Vaughn.
Okay.
I, was listening to you talk about your daughter and the situation with your daughter, and I've got a friend who is in a tight place with her 14-year-old daughter.
Okay.
How do I recommend that they start to de-escalate some of these arguments? What is the best advice I can give them to not be so dramatic?
Not be so dramatic. Okay.
As you say.
Okay.
Who, the mother or the child, be less dramatic, or both?
Yes.
Both. Okay. So I'm going to give you this acronym. It's called PACS. And so when people talk to other people, they function out of 3 different places. One, are they functioning as a parent? Are they functioning as an adult? Or are they functioning as a child? With your friend, I would say she needs to do a lot of generous listening. Help to validate her daughter's perspective, because understanding always precedes problem solving. So if she's not doing the things to try to understand her daughter's perspective, that's not going to be good, because if you don't understand, you may be solving the wrong problem. So she needs to do some. She needs to do some things, and she needs to respect the dignity of her daughter as well. So just real quick advice. So go ahead.
Great advice, Vaughn. You're burning it. Burn on with Vaughn. There you go. Joni, thank you so much for calling and for that great question. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Everyone, you know what? We're going to be recording a podcast after the broadcast with James West on sexual boundaries and recovery from sexual trauma. So look for that on our website, oneliferadio.com. Everyone, you know what? You get one body, you get one mind, and you get one life. Get out there today and make the most of it.